We are back in the SportsGrid Studio right in the middle of the action at G2E 2024, and we have an amazing opportunity to sit down with Brian Christopher of BC Slots, the ultimate and original slot influencer.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. How's G2E so far?
It's incredibly fun. I love it's like my playground basically.
For sure.
It's a really busy playground though, but I love it.
It's a busy week. There's a lot going on, and this year in particular feels like there's this major buzz and a million people. How is going to each slot machine vendor and seeing the new product?
It's exciting. I've only been to a few of them so far, but our new slots coming out is really exciting for me, especially because we have our own coming out this year, which is really nice.
Yeah, let's just jump right into that because I've heard that you have new product coming out,
yes,
which is incredibly exciting. Tell me all about the slot machine.
All right. So, well, first of all, the first game was Brian Christopher's Pop and Pays More. Okay, it was all about Brian Christopher, like all my fans and all my sayings and everything. It was a lot of Brian Christopher. This one is called Brian Christopher's World Cruise, but it's like mostly about the world cruise. I host a lot of cruises already. I bring hundreds of fans on cruises with me 8 to 10 times a year.
Incredible.
Yeah, and one of the things that they do on cruises is they hide ducks. They hide rubber ducks on the cruises, and you find them throughout. So we decided to run with that theme. So literally it's like a 3-duck game where you got to get these ducks to pop, and if they pop, you get a bonus. So it is the cutest game, and just like the very first game we did, I snuck my husband Marco into it as well. He didn't know until today. So he's one of the wild cymbals that dances. So it was hilarious.
What an awesome surprise.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through what that's like in the game design phase, from initial thought to being on a casino floor?
So yeah, the second game right now is much different than the first one. The first one we basically, they already had the game ready to go, and then I just Brian-fied it, told them what I wanted to change, how I wanted things to go. This one was from like very beginning, right? We started fresh with nothing. And one of the themes that we had talked about was cruises. And I'm like, yeah, I do cruises all the time. I think my audience would love it. And also we could put these games on the cruises too, it just made sense. And so we talked about everything we wanted in it. They wanted me to come up with like types of bonuses I wanted to do, what the symbols would look like on the reels. We talk about sound, and then we do a lot of voiceovers. And so I probably shot over 100 voiceovers, and I don't even know which ones I ended up using, to be honest. We're going to find out today.
Incredible. What a surreal moment to see that come to life and see it available to the public.
Yeah, and their team is amazing. Like, they're so good to work with, and I'll give them ideas, and they'll bring me down a few notches easily because I want to go bigger and wilder. But it's like, slot machines are very intricate, and they're like math machines too, right? Like, they have a mathematician who figures out what makes sense and everything. So I gotta let them. They handle all the smart stuff, and I tell them what fun things I want, and then they make it so much better.
So you're telling me you weren't creating the pay tables? Is that,
I wish. No,
that's
100% gaming arts, not me. Yes.
Awesome. How many years have you been coming to G2E?
This is my 8th year coming.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I started on YouTube 8.5 years ago, and I've always been a go-getter. Like, whatever I do, I go all in. So I started my channel in April 8 years ago, and in October I was at G2E already. Like, let's go, At that point I had 10,000 subscribers. I thought I was the best. And I just went from like booth to booth to booth, talking to everybody, trying to like introduce myself, and it flourished. I mean, back then I would pull out my cell phone and I'd get like shut down immediately. You could not bring your phone out anywhere.
So how did you navigate that to get to the point where you are now 8 years later?
I think success had a lot to do with that, right? Like, and early adopters. So like, there were a few casinos that were so on board, they understood social media from the very beginning. Still today, a lot of them don't get it, and so some of them were saying, okay, 100% anyone that walks on their floors, you can film your play if you want to, as long as you just, not filming other people or whatever else, and you keep it professional, then you're totally fine. So that definitely helped. But then, I had to like beg casinos to let me film there, and I'd stick to just a few casinos at the beginning. But as I got bigger and bigger, they're begging me now to come to their casino.
For sure.
Yeah, they see like every month we hit 8 million unique viewers, right? Like, it's a huge audience that we hit. And so now they're begging us to come out.
And what do you think the audience is so drawn to? Of course, you're very personable. You're fun to be around. You have energy on camera. But what draws them to want to watch somebody else play slot machines?
Yeah, it makes no sense. So when I like, legit, the only reason this whole thing started is because I had just moved to the United States. I'm from Canada.
Okay.
And we had never been to Vegas. So I went on YouTube to find out where I should play and what games there are. And I found some videos of people playing their games, and I was like, that's so dumb. Who would watch that? Who wants to watch someone else play, right? But like 8 hours later, I'm like still fixated on these guys playing these games because you just get drawn in somehow.
You're learning.
You're learning as well, but it's entertainment value.
And it's thrilling for people
It is
to
so
watch.
much fun. Yeah.
You know, I heard a comparison the other day about, we were talking about Twitch, like why would somebody want to watch somebody else play video games? And this gentleman said, well, you don't play football, but you like to watch football.
Exactly.
You're
I say
watching
that all the
somebody
time.
else play. They're playing a game.
Yeah.
And you're watching it.
Exactly.
It makes sense to me.
But I do feel like, I mean, there is skill involved in football. There's zero skill involved in playing a slot machine. You just put money and press a button. You have no control over anything, right?
Listen, some people might seriously disagree with you.
They do.
With the superstition and
Oh,
what
God,
button
help
you
us.
touch
Yes,
when.
I know.
Is there any type of slot machine in particular you enjoy over another?
I love volatile games, even though my bank account doesn't really love it, you know, because you never, like, when you get into that bonus, it could just be the biggest bonus of your life, right?
It's going for 30 minutes.
Yes. But, like, the numbers that you can hit are just incredible. And I like trying new games, too. Like, last night on the casino floor, I was supposed to be going to bed. And I walked by this machine I've never seen before. So I sat down and put in some money, and I hit a jackpot. And I hit 5 jackpots on this one machine. I'm like, I'm in love with this game now. And so I went over to the booth, and I told them I love your game. And they were mad at me. They're like, yeah, but you're going to make our numbers be off on the casino. They're going to think that it's paying too big now because you kept winning.
Because you won 5 times.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's not my bad.
Let's jump back to G2E really quickly. I just want to know your favorite part about G2E, personally.
I mean, obviously, I want to see all the new games in that, but
Yeah.
it's just connecting with our partners. We have so many amazing partners that we work with, like Carnival, Cruise Line, and Gaming Arts with our slot machine. But we work with every single game manufacturer, you know, like in 2 weeks, I think it is, I'm doing another world premiere of a new game coming out that I'm so excited about.
Sure.
So, yeah, and I mean, parties. There are so many parties.
Let's talk about Flip the Switch
Yes.
really quickly.
Sure, yeah. So, first of all, the name Flip the Switch comes from, again, superstition, right? Because there's slot players who are like, oh, Brian, don't play in that area. They flip the switch on it. They've turned them all off. No one's winning over there.
Yeah.
But they flip the switch over there. Everyone's winning. Like, people believe that there's a magical switch somewhere that
they're in a big control room in the back.
They
Yes, of
really, really believe that, and I try and convince them otherwise. And so we designed this website called fliptheswitch.com, where we put out between 1 and 2 articles, maybe 3 articles every single day of the year. We have over 1,000 on there. We just started 1 year ago. We just passed a year on the website. And we're educating people not only about how to play games, but where to play, how to play sports bet. You know, it's complicated doing, sports betting. It really is. And we have another section called You Asked. And that's my favorite one, where all the fans will go there and they enter in questions that they want to learn about. And then we teach them where they can play also, right? So a lot of people want to play online. And you can only do real money gaming in so many states, right? You can only do sports betting in so many states, but there's other alternatives they can play at depending on where they're located around the world. And so we have that all spelled out on our site too.
That's right. That's right. Can you tell us where BC Slots is going in the future?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's going to TV. our relationship with SportsGrid, I'm so excited about it.
We are very excited about it.
We're just getting started. So you're going to see a lot of our casino content coming on the SportsGrid, but we're looking to expand. But all I can say is that your team is absolutely incredible here. Like, the ideas that they're coming out with, my mind is blown. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I'm like, you just came up with that in like a week. How did you do that? They are so smart.
They're pretty good here at
so creative.
SportsGrid.
Yes, and I cannot wait. And we announced it to our fans already. They are so ready for this, and I think we needed this on TV as well.
Big step from online presence to TV. So congratulations.
It's the first time like an influencer in our space like goes from like YouTube to TV. So that's really exciting.
We're busy.
We are so busy.
We are on the move.
Well,
thank you so much for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Brian Christopher of BC Slots.
Welcome back here to the Global Gaming Expo. Brady Cannon with you on SportsGrid, and lucky enough now to be joined by Joe Maloney. He is a Senior Vice President for Strategic Communications for the American Gaming Association, the governing body kind of gaming, the watchdog to make sure everybody's playing by the rules. Yes, Joe?
We are proud to represent the casino industry and our sports betting partners now writ large, right? The expansion of gaming has been pretty monumental in this country, legal regulated gaming, and so we are the industry's voice before governments, before international jurisdictions even, and the sort of growing expansion of just gaming as a really fun and viable entertainment option. So this is our show. It's great to be here, and thank you for being here, Brady, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are a proud partner of the AGA, so thank you for your support of SportsGrid and your involvement here at G2E. I want to ask you about the G2E convention. Is this kind of the AGA's Super Bowl?
You couldn't have said it any better. This is our Super Bowl. Actually, I first met you and the team at SportsGrid at Radio Row here about 9 months ago, and we're back here right now in Las Vegas for our own industry Super Bowl. Yeah, this is an incredibly important event. Global Gaming Expo. I really want to pronounce global. This is where the entire legal regulated industry comes together, making deals that affect revenue growth on the casino floor and with the sportsbook operators. Talking about the tough issues and the future of the industry. What does regulation look like? What does technological innovation look like? That's covered across our education track. And then I think most importantly, it's just where the whole industry comes together for that peer networking, right? For that opportunity to compare notes and to discuss, hey, how are we going to continue to innovate and expand? It all happens right here amongst tens of thousands of attendees from all over the world.
You talk about how much the gaming industry has grown. I've been here in Las Vegas for 30 years, and so I've seen it grow right in front of my face. Obviously, sports betting growing with the passing of PAPSPA. How long has the American Gaming Association been around?
So we are a 3-decade-long association. We're about to have our 30th anniversary in just a few years. And the American Gaming Association began right around that time where you began to see legal regulated gaming expand beyond the traditional geographic locations where it's historically been, Las Vegas and Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tribal gaming, riverboat gaming were other important moments of expansion. And it began at that point the need for an industry voice, A, in Washington, and then B, in state capitals throughout the country, where there was a conversation about, hey, maybe gaming is a good fit for our state.
Yeah.
Maybe this is an opportunity to legalize gambling, to provide destinations for people that want to experience casinos so that we're not necessarily losing all these consumers that are flying to Las Vegas for this experience and taking a bus down to Atlantic City for the experience. Let's see if we can capture that market here in our state, tax it, generate revenue for it, and then most importantly, Brady, I really want to pronounce this as protecting constituents, residents of these jurisdictions from illegal gambling operators, right? Getting it out of the backroom parlors run by organized crime and the like, bringing it into these destinations where you're just getting this amazing immersive entertainment option. And so it began a need for an association to represent that industry as it grew.
Where did you get started in all of this? What's your background? How did you get involved and eventually end up in Washington, D.C.?
So, like anything, I have a very traditional career in Washington, D.C. I moved there, just like a lot of young people do, to try to change the world. I had a job on Capitol Hill working for a member of Congress, and then I traveled the country helping to elect candidates to office. I ended up anchoring in Washington, D.C. I started a career in corporate public affairs and corporate communications. And when you're in Washington and you're doing that corporate work, it's typically with industries that are highly regulated, that are seeing a significant amount of regulation and trying to determine what is the appropriate amount of regulation that allows innovation and growth. So I started working in the oil and gas industry. I started working in the healthcare industry. And then soon I began to work in hospitality. I began to work in entertainment. It brought me exposure to the gaming world. I had a detour into the NFL for 3 years where I did a lot of fun work with the Washington Commanders. And then I found my way back to gaming, and now I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Communications for the American Gaming Association. I run our marketing, our media relations, our research work, and our responsibility work.
You were kind of tipping me on some numbers about estimates in legal gambling, what the handle is going to be, and I think this is interesting for our viewers, how much you guys forecast is going to be legally bet on NFL football, which of course just started 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, so right before the start of the NFL season, we released a legal wager estimate. We have the benefit of this now, Brady. We can look back on states that report revenues from sports betting by a monthly basis, and now we have enough data now. We have enough product on the field since 2018 when PASPA was overturned to now provide a legal wager estimate. We forecast 35 billion in legal wagers on the NFL season this year, right? That's remarkable for a couple of reasons. One, 9 in 10 Americans right now, according to our survey research, deem gambling, whether it's a casino floor or placing a sports bet, as a viable and safe entertainment option for themselves or a family member of age. So you're beginning to see greater acceptance of, wow, this is just fun, I want to do this. And then second, just additional growth in terms of jurisdictions legalizing betting. So we had about 7 new states in the last 14 months. North Carolina came online this year, a sports-crazed state, obviously, with some professional teams and some great university institutions that are very competitive in basketball. So you're beginning to see a lot of that growth. So it's attributable to those two factors, that increased growth. What it means for the show, I mean, just look at us. It feels bigger and better every year, right?
Right.
And that is an indication of just the growth of regulated gaming, the wider acceptance of gaming in this country, as well in jurisdictions abroad. So you're just getting the vibes that we're all feeling right now, which is just a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm.
Very cool, an exciting conversation, and very well put by our friend Joe Maloney, the Senior Vice President, Strategic Communications at the American Gaming Association. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Brady.
All right, take care.
Hi, welcome back to G2E Day 2, Wednesday at the SportsGrid Studio, right on the exhibit floor at the Venetian Expo Center here in Las Vegas. We are sitting down with Hugo Bongardner, the Chief Commercial Officer at Grupo, Aposta, Ganha.
Well done.
Well done?
Yeah.
Perfect. How's the convention going so far for you?
Thank you very much. The convention is very, very good. Usually I come here every year. I really enjoy coming to Las Vegas. So it's one show that I always have to come. I really enjoy coming here every year. Since 2010, every year.
Awesome. And where are you from?
I'm Brazilian.
Okay.
Born in Brazil. I started the career back in 1997 when there was a bingo law in Brazil. So I started working with the bingo in Brazil until 2004 when the current president prohibited everything in Brazil back in 2004.
All gaming.
All gaming.
Okay.
So I worked on the legal side in Brazil until 2004. And then the company that I worked for started expanding to Latin America and Peru. And then when I moved with my family to Mexico City, where I was until 2020.
Can you give us a high-level description and explanation of what you do now and the company that you're with,
of course,
and how you provide value to the gaming industry?
Of course. So last year when I joined the Aposta Ganha group, was with the purpose to expand the brand to Latin America, which we did. In the beginning of 2024, we opened our first online operation in Mexico. which the name is apostagana.mx. So basically, I was hired to it. Aposta Ganha Group is a group that started in Brazil back in 2018. So it's an online operation. Okay. So at the moment, Brazil is coming from the unregulated market to the regulated market, which will be live or be 100% regulated in January 1st. Right now, Aposta Ganha Group have a operation in Mexico and just finalizing paperwork and procedures to start in Brazil regulated in 2025.
Can we touch on that a little bit? So you just mentioned that Brazil was unregulated market and now it's becoming a regulated market. Can we touch on that a little bit?
Of course. So remember when I mentioned that Brazil was regulated until 2004?
Yes.
And so it's basically was land-based at that time, right? So that was a big gap. Until now, Brazil is not regulated the land-based. There's no casinos in Brazil. So back in 2018, former president approved the law for the online environment, but it never got regulated itself. So there is a law approving it, but no regulation in place. So it took 6 years to the different presidents take this mission and finalize the regulation and put everything online in place. So that's part of the job that this current president is doing. So again, Brazil is a reality. I think that more than 5,000 websites in the unregulated environment is working at the moment, but only 80 something, close to 90 are already pre-approved by the government to start the regulated market in 2025.
Okay, small percentage. What is your favorite part of coming to G2E, and why do you come this year? What's your major purpose this year?
The major purpose is to meet providers. As I said to you, with the regulated market, there is a lot of things that has to be revisited as contracts, negotiations. So I have to sit down with every provider and make sure that we have the best deal in place for us and for them. So that's my goal to come to G2E. And coming to G2E, it's like seeing old friends that I when I used to work to the land-based environment. So I see old friends, and so I really enjoy friends from Mexico as well. That Mexicans, they enjoy coming to Las Vegas to the show as well. So that's my main goal, coming to Las Vegas.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about you.
Thank you for the invitation.
And your company. Yes, thank you for spending time with us. That is Hugo Bongardner, who's really focusing on taking the Brazilian market from an unregulated to a regulated market.